The Vergas Show is brought to you by Spanky's Stone Hearth, casual fine dining on the shores of beautiful Rose Lake.
With 2 locations in Vergas and Perham, make the right call. Call Hanson's, the most trusted name in plumbing and heating.
Vergas State Bank, your locally owned full-service bank.
Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thanks for joining me today. I'm at the home of Alwyn and Marilyn Martinson. Thank you for joining me and welcoming me into your home. You know, we got some special things going on here, and we're going to talk about how you have the honor of being chosen the Grand Marshals of the Vergas Looney Day Parade for 2016. What do you think of that?
Well, I suppose it's all right. Didn't have much to say about it, you know.
Well, I think when you say that you didn't have much say about it, it kind of goes back to that whole thing, you don't have much to say about it, but your actions have proven that that's what they want, and people have voted that. And so I think that's what's pretty nice. How about you, Marilyn? What do you think about it?
I guess I was just totally surprised. I couldn't even imagine why.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit today about probably why. And I think one of those things that always helps us get into that is, why don't you, I'm going to start with Marilyn, because I know you know how to talk here, Alwyn. But I'm going to start with Marilyn. Raising your family, tell me a little bit about that. Where your home was. And
we lived 8 miles southwest of Vergas on a small farm. And we thought it was wonderful. It had a small lake there, and there was plenty of room for the kids to go and do whatever they wanted to do.
How many children?
5.
5
we
children.
We have 2 sons and 3 daughters. Our oldest son has just recently moved back to the Vergas area and has put up a home out on the home farm. David is west of Wahpeton. Donna is up in Walker. Mary Lou is here in Detroit Lakes, and Carol is in Fargo.
Oh, so they're all fairly close.
They're within driving distance. So,
and I like what you say. I mean, you felt like you had it all when you were out there.
Yes, it was wonderful.
And that's a great way to bring up a family. So, Alwyn, what made the decision for you to move into the community of Vergas?
Well, you mean onto the farm? Well, we got flooded out one too many times out there in the Breckenridge area on the flats.
Okay, so you started there.
Yeah,
okay.
And we looked, and my uncle had a farm by Underwood, and I always liked the hills. And then when we moved up here, then I found out that the Nelson boys, they only lived 3 miles from us, and they're related. And my cousin was a couple miles from me, and I didn't know they were here.
Okay, so you had a lot of family around. So how many years were you on the farm outside of Vergas?
42.
42 years you were out there. And so then you moved into the community of Vergas where you live now. And tell me a little bit about that, how that decision came about.
Well, I was having that cancer problem then, and so we was kind of worried about what are we going to do in the winter if the driveway gets blocked, because it was
That's
a half
a real
long.
thing, yes.
And and then there was a schoolmate of Dennis's that he wanted to buy the farm. So
okay, and so it all worked out.
What was left of it, and he bought that, and we moved into town.
Now, Alwyn, tell me a little bit about, I know that you worked for the city of Vergas for a period of time, and I'm sure that was one of the things that people thought of when they wanted to bestow the honor of Grand Marshal on you.
I worked for the liquor store for 10 years. I think I was manager for 9. And then after we moved into town here, I called bingo, I think, for 7 years over here.
At the assisted living.
At the assisted living. And I've been a volunteer driver for the assisted living ever since I moved into town.
I know that when I'll see that little PT Cruiser go driving around, and I know that one of you is in it, and you're usually not alone. And if you aren't together, it's that you're transporting somebody else around. Have you always had that volunteer spirit?
I guess so. Yeah. Well, there's. Probably shouldn't go into this, but we had a neighbor.
But you will. Good. I'm glad.
When our kids were going to school, we had 2.5 miles, and I was driving milk truck, And it was storming bad, and the school called Marilyn and said to come and get the kids, and it was party line.
Oh, yes.
And then the neighbor heard it, and he says, Marilyn, don't you go. I'll go get them, because you don't go out with those little kids.
Okay.
And
that stuck with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've tried to, what they call pay forward.
Pay it forward. You know, there is something to that, but
Right.
I mean, you learn it.
You never know when you're going to need help.
No, that's true. So, Marilyn, I know that you've been very active in the church, and tell me a little bit about that. You're at the Methodist Church here in Vergas.
Well, I have served several positions on the ad council, and I've been active in the UMW ever since our youngest daughter, Carol, started school.
Okay.
And sadly, our group is all gray hairs. It's getting to the point where it's really difficult for us to do what we feel we should do. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Time changes everything.
Yeah, time does change everything. And so then did you instill that in your children too, then, to make sure that they understood and to be involved? And
we made sure they had religious training, religious upbringing, whether or not they always agreed with it. You know how that is. We don't always want to go to Sunday school, or we don't always want to go to church. But we're very proud of how they turned out.
You know, there is something, you know, you can give them the foundation, you can plant those seeds, and then it usually isn't until they're a little bit older that it all comes back, right?
That's true.
That's true when they have children of their own, or families, or whatever they're doing. Alwyn, I'd like to, you know, point out that one of the greatest volunteer things that you've done is you served in the military. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Well, when I turned 17 in 1943, and then I think it was 2 months afterwards, I enlisted in the Navy, but of course my dad had to sign for me because I wasn't old enough, and I went boot camp, radio school, ended up on a troop ship. The first battle was Iwo Jima. I went in with the 4th. They transferred me over to the 4th Marine Division, and I went in with the first wave of them, and then after that I spent quite a few trips back and forth from the ship to the island.
And you continue, you know, with that, as far as I know, you put flags on the cemetery graves of our veterans. I know that you serve with the VFW,
right.
And so personally, I'd like to thank you for your service. And
it was an honor.
It was an honor, and that's what I always hear from you when we talk about that. You know, we've touched on just a couple things here, but I think it's just going to be really awesome to see the two of you riding through the Vergas Looney Day Parade with the honor of being Grand Marshal. Vergas Looney Days is August 11th through the 14th. The parade is on Sunday, and so you'll be in a car all decked out, and I hope that you're on the streets there waving and just recognizing the fact that we have so many wonderful people in our community, and Vergas is just a great place to, like you say, to bring up a family. Yes. And it gives you the opportunity, it makes it easy to want to do things for others and to be part of the community by just living in this community. Right. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And so come out for Vergas Looney Days. Like I say, it's August 11th through the 14th. There's things for young and old. If you go on the cityofvergas.com website, you will find the whole poster that's out there. You can get application to run in the 5K. There's just a lot of things going on with that. And while you're waving and saying congratulations to Alwyn and Marilyn, be sure and remember that on the 28th of July, which was just a few days prior to Looney Days, he had the honor of turning 90 years old. So let's say happy birthday to him, and then we can do that. And I thank you, Marilyn. I thank you, Alwyn, for letting me come into your home and for being a part of the community of Vergas and all you do.
Thank you, Sherry. You're
the next.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes. And we will cut with that, and we'll say, have a good day in Vergas. Thank you.